Hi there, this is another episode of me making a horror game in Roblox, inspired by the shifting, moving walls from the Maze Runner, the ones that move and crush players' player state. If you haven't watched the previous episode, here's what happened. I finally made a perfectly working map generation system. And when I say perfectly working, I mean it actually works. There's just one tiny problem. It only generates the map once. Yeah, that's it. So what we're going to do now is make the map generate actively during gameplay. I'm thinking maybe every 1 minute. Imagine surviving in the maze, and then suddenly everything shifts. A brand new layout, new paths, new dead ends, total Maze Runner horror vibes. And that's exactly what we're building today. All right, let's do this. So the first thing I noticed was I completely forgot to add a proper spawn point. Right now, the player sometimes spawns on the roof or even underneath the floor. And that's, really annoying. To fix it, I quickly added a function that figures out which room was spawned first and sets that as the spawn point. Basically, it creates an instance of a spawn location part in that very first room, while the rest of the tiles are just normal rooms with no spawn point. This way, players always start in a safe and predictable location right in the first room, and the procedural map can still generate normally without breaking player spawns. Next, I added the safe zone clues. Remember that illustration I made? In this game, players need to reach the safe room as quickly as possible. But here's the catch. To find it, they have to identify odd walls. These odd walls might point toward the safe room, or sometimes they are the safe room themselves. So players need to check carefully. The safe zone works like this. All tiles aligned with it become odd walls, just like it. That's why on the map it forms a cross, and the very center is the safe zone, or the safe room. The walls that look different from most of the walls, they're not just for style. The odd walls textures actually hint at the next map's design, a little glimpse of what's coming next. Players need to observe, plan, and navigate. Every odd wall could be a clue or a trap. I already added a texture parameter in the map generation function, a texture that applies to all map tiles. But then I thought, what if some rooms look different? So to make that happen, I introduced a new variable, next map texture. Now instead of every tile sharing the same look, I can control a second texture, a special one. After that, I quickly made a function that randomly selects a safe zone. And here's the interesting part. It doesn't have to be a room. It can be a room or even a hallway. Once the safe zone is selected, I swap its normal texture with the next map texture. But I didn't stop there. Every tile aligned to that safe room, meaning any tile that shares the same X value or the same Y value will inherit that next map texture. So now the safe room doesn't just exist. It visually spreads across the map, forming a line of connected tiles that all share the same texture. Almost like a hidden signal, guiding players, or warning them. Now it's time to make the map actually move. And this part, I almost shit my pants. After bugs and bugs, it took a while until it finally made 10% of it succeed. At first, nothing was moving, then everything started breaking. But hey, at least something is finally working. The walls are closing perfectly. All of the room tiles closed at the same time, and that's clearly unfair to the players inside. So I kept reconstructing the code, facing bugs after bugs, until it finally closed like a domino. See how beautiful it fades? That's pure Maze Runner terror right there. I was already so happy with this scenery. I even watched it a couple of times, from different angles. I felt excited all of a sudden, until I noticed a hidden bug. A bug that probably existed long before I was even born. This thing, all this time, it was randomly duplicating tiles in some parts of the grid. That's why it felt a little laggy, so I inspected my code, tracing back my footsteps, wondering, what did I miss? I kept staring at it, trying to understand when exactly it duplicates a tile, until I realized. The way I designed the algorithm for this random generation, I made the room tiles spawn randomly, aligning with each other. But I forgot that when the hallways trace that alignment, they can intersect each other's tiles as well, causing duplication, especially when I increase the number of rooms. I was already struggling, but then it gave me another slap in the chin. My internet connection. I swear if my progress wasn't saved, I was about to burn this world like the one I cooked yesterday. But thank God, I was safe. When the internet came back, I immediately fixed the bug. And thank God it finally worked. I mean, it looks the same, but so much better. No hidden insect underneath. Now I'm on my way to making it regenerate infinitely, like non-stop regeneration, new paths and new map textures every next round. I quickly coded it and it went pretty fine until it randomly snapped an error. Like, how? It was already perfect. I swear, I already organized the steps, the instructions of the algorithm pretty well. What was that supposed to mean? But then I ran it again and again, and the error seemed to have disappeared, but I still don't understand why. What was that? I kept looking for the error, waiting for it to appear again. Like, I literally left my PC running for a couple of hours, but it never came back. I was wondering, what if it came back later, when it's already published? But whatever. Note that I did try to find it, but it only showed its ass once. All done. Infinite map generation completed. About the sound effects, it took me an hour to select one of the best earthquakes Roblox has provided. I specifically searched for each map texture so that it would somehow sound realistic, and also to give players a distinct, different ambience for each map texture, giving each map texture its own characteristic. Here, listen to this for a bit. And for the cherry on top, I added a smash sound at every end of the animation. It's not quite perfect yet. There are probably way more sounds for that sand texture, but that's it for the sound part. If you made it this far, congratulations. We're in the climax of the story. I'm going to kill the players, and the way I'm going to do it is by making the room tile know if there are players inside it or not. I made a player inside variable inside each generated tile. I also made a huge intangible part in the center of the room, basically a part that counts the players inside the room. And when the wall closes, it would activate a kill function for all players that the death part provides. But it failed, not because it didn't work, just it was laggy. Basically, I was adding way too many parts, and I just realized that's bullshit. So instead, I figured out a new idea. I used the literal room tile's floor to check for player presence. I took the floor's coordinates and compared them to the player's coordinates. If the player's distance to the floor is less than half the total size of the room, that means the player is currently inside the radius of the room. And that way, room tiles can kill players properly. Finally, it's time to test the game. And so far, it's working properly. You can literally feel the pressure of finding the safe zone quickly, or you're dead. Look at this part. I literally have no time left to peek behind those walls to know which of these odd walls is safe. I know that it's either this tile or that tile far over there, but nah. I'm picking this one. Well, that was stupid. Let me do it one last time. I'll also track manually how many map cycles I survived. Here we go. I'll be silent this time. Okay, just to let you know, see those odd wooden walls? You can clearly tell that the intersection, or the safe tile of these odd wooden walls, is behind this thing. So I'm going to go behind this wall now. Shutting my mouth again. And boom, I'm still alive. All I need to do now is wait for the next map, which is the wooden map, just like the odd wall showed us. Okay, so now I think it's pretty obvious. The odd wall now is these white colored rooms, since the current map is supposed to be the wooden one. That one looks weird, but what actually happened is that the safe zone probably spawned aligned with our current location. That's why our current location turned into an odd wall too. So yeah, that's probably something I should fix in the next episode. I'm already panicking here. I have no idea where the safe zone is. That's the same error before. I should really fix that. again in here. I can't determine the intersection of the odd wall. I have no more time left to wonder anymore. And I'm guessing there are odd rooms behind this wall, and this hallway right here could be the safe zone. Let's see. Well, I guess that was it. I only reached 8 map cycles. That was it for this episode. If you made it this far, you're a goat. I hope you enjoyed that. There's so much more I need to add in this game, and this series will surely still be long. In the next episode, I was thinking of finally making the enemies, but I still have things I want to improve with the map. Like, imagine if the safe room is closed by big, giant doors. In order to go inside, you first need to find a key or lever or something to open it, adding more pressure to the game. But let me know what you think. Comment down below what you think I should do next. See ya.